natural musical instrument. What is music? This is a pleasing succession of harmonic sound we would love to hear, and musicians are people who reproduce musical sounds with the help of musical instruments. Today, computers can perform all the human tasks and routines, and making music is not an exception. So today I'm going to explain you the way people reproduce and play music, the way computer keep track of musical data and sound, and finally how can we combine natural musical instrument with MIDI system capability and adapt them to our computerized world. Musicians used so-called note grammar invented by Guido d'Arezzo in 10th century. The note grammar consists of 5-line staff on which we place notes which determine the frequency of a sound. Also we have a clef which determines a note to frequency conversion scale, and the duration of a note is determined by the way note looks like. For instance, is note A, that's 440 Hz sound, it lasts half a unit time. This is note C, 523 Hz sound, it lasts a quarter of unit time. This is note A of a second octave, 880 Hz, it lasts whole period of unit time. So we are pretty familiar with music staff. In order to write scores, musicians know by heart all the frequencies and durations, so they hear the music and put what they think on note paper. Or sometimes they play along some instrument in order to determine the tune exactly. In order to convert scores back to music, musicians are given scores, they play it on the instrument, they press corresponding keys or pull corresponding string, and so we get music. You are hired as a score writer for an orchestra, when all instruments use various frequency ranges. How would you write scores for all of them? Very easy. For every frequency range, you just need to shift every note by a difference in frequency. Here, on the same amount of lines. Like this. It's very easy to shift frequency of a tune for various instruments, and in order to change rhyme scheme like from ta 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 to ta 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 ta, you mean just to change durations like this. And now let's hire a computer to do it. In order to be capable of doing this, the computer must be compatible with MIDI system, which stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. The system features parallel data transmission over 16 channels of events such as notes played, volume or dynamic change, or sustain pedal pressed. The transmission is in binary code. Every note has a binary code for it. Every volume level has a binary code for it. Every event like sustain pedal, like wow wow, like wheel modulation has binary code for it. So the sender gives a signal and destination know what it means, and destination, MIDI destination, can measure a time and write exact notes with durations. For live performance, it's recommended to have both source and destination musical instruments that will make sound. It can be either instrument or a sound box. At this end and this end should be an instrument that performer can play. And now our main question: how can we adapt natural musical instruments to our computerized world? First, just review the working principles of musical instruments. In keyboards, the note to play is determined by a key we press, and the intensity of the sound is determined by how strong we press. In strings, the note to play is determined by a string we pluck and a place we hold it to pluck. And intensity is determined by force we use to pluck a string. In woodwinds, the note is determined by a valve we press, and intensity of sound is determined by any pressure in a mouthpiece of musical instrument. So now it's become clear that all instruments are made on principle of physics and how to adapt them to our computerized world. We just need to insert measuring device for intensity of a sound, which in this case is ear pressure meter, the same technique used by blood pressure meter, tire gauge meter. In strings we have to insert force meter, mechanical one, which can be found even in physics lab. And in order to recognize the sound, I mean the note press, just put a switch under each key or place to hold the string before plucking, and a key will trigger a circuitry to transmit right code over MIDI system. So the note grammar gives musician freedom to manipulate notes in educated ways, to edit them, to transpose, to record music, to transform it. MIDI system gives computers capability to process musical signals, to store data, and do all stuff that humans can do with music. Musical instrument plus electronic measurement device is equal to 100% compatibility. Due to physics principles, as a musician, I'm just a hobbyist, but MIDI system helps me to perform professional tricks on computers and write professional arrangements for my compositions, while I'm just know how to play a piano merely. So now I'm involved in a project of sound production for a string quartet with accordion.